Hi all, Hal here with, a new game by Gaijin. It's actually called Crossout, of all things. Basically what this game is it's I guess for lack of a better term, it's, War Thunder with custom vehicles. Basically what it is you are a, I guess you could say, post-apocalyptic survivor. You have access to a couple of different parts, and you build custom vehicles and take them into combat. There's a couple of games like it out on different themes. This is the first one from I guess you could even consider them a major publisher. Gaijin Entertainment's been around for a while. They produced the War Thunder series. Inside of that, a lot of what you're used to with their games is actually going to hold true in this one. The controls are very similar. It uses just a traditional WotC control. You use the mouse to aim and fire, and I think the biggest point of it is that you can actually modify the vehicles. And as you level up, you'll gain free parts as well as you complete missions, you can destroy other vehicles, and you end up getting all of these resources, and then you use those resources to improve and modify your own vehicle. It's a very fast-paced, very entertaining game so far. I mean, it will have a couple of things that you'll notice. Later on, when you get into the higher tier vehicles, there are rockets that are self-guided. And those have no active counter right now. There's some of the players have figured out ways to, protect against them. But for the people who haven't really done this yet, it's pretty brutal. Because what will happen is you'll get into the game and you won't even basically you'll get a marker and you'll be dead. So it happens, but that's true in any game. I mean, you'll always have people who figure out the best way to exploit or the best way to maximize off of how the engine is done, and it just comes down to players and the player creativity on how to counter those situations. So what we're going to be doing today is I wanted to show you, this is one of the starter vehicles. These little blocks that you see, I have a UI turned on. There's a UI setting that you can turn on that shows you the weld points. Basically, each one of these squares is a place that you can attach things, and depending on what you want to attach, there will be one or more squares to secure it. Now, you want to have anything that you attach generally to be attached to as many squares as possible, because what will happen is that your vehicle will take damage and you can lose portions of the vehicle itself. So let me show you. When we go into build, anything that you see highlighted is all one item. So if I lose the cab, basically my character dies and you're out for the round. But like here where you have this back corner panel, anything that's attached to just these squares, if this panel is destroyed, you'll lose those items as well. So what you want to do is, in situations like this, is you want to try and bridge a couple of different points, and you want to have as many mounting points as possible, because that way you're less likely to lose your weapons. Now, like I said, this is a starter vehicle. Everyone starts with this truck. You get one basic machine gun, and I mean, it's a really basic machine gun. But as you level up, let me show you here, you start unlocking new parts. As you can see, I've got a couple of different parts that I am not using currently. And anything with a number on it like this, where you'll see the 20 out of 40, has durability. Well, what happens is that if you lose in PvP games, you lose durability on your, you have a potential to lose durability on your parts. So with this, as you can see, my cabin is about 50%. The machine gun is only 4 points left. There are ways to repair. You can also replace the parts by either buying them or completing missions, and I'll show you how the missions work shortly. But basically what you can do is, as you gain parts, you can take these parts and modify your vehicle. Let's see, let's just grab a cover here. And as you can see, what I would be able to do is I can attach it just like that. This particular thing is just basically armor. And then you just right click to remove it. Once you're done, you can actually take your vehicle into a test drive. And this will let you basically tweak your vehicle a little bit, make sure everything's working the way you want it to. Now, the nice thing about things like the machine gun is that there's no ammo for them. Some weapons will have a limited number of shots. And what you can do is if you want more ammo for it, see, there goes rear panel. But pretty much everything is destroyable. But what I was saying is if you want more ammo for the heavier weapons, you can get ammo kits. Let's go ahead and go back and I'll show you here. You can get ammo boxes. I have a couple in here. I should have a couple in here. Yeah, there we go. Which will add ammo for what you're trying to, for whatever weapon. Like this one increases it by 70%, but if it's destroyed, these things will do damage around the vehicle. So you could actually use these as a type of bomb. Pardon me. A type of bomb, and you know, to ram people or to just straight up detonate yourself. Now, I haven't really figured out a good way to use them as a self-destruct device, because it does do damage to everything around you, as you can see here, you know, up to 10 meters in radius for the explosions. So I'm trying to figure out a good way to do it. I know later on I'll get things like contact explosives and stuff. They have these harpoons, well, these more like they're lances that have exploding tips on them that if you ram another vehicle, it'll take damage. So I'm trying to figure out ways of using stuff like that in conjunction with things like the ammo pack, you know, to detonate the opponents. So, alright, so let's talk about the UI really quick. So you have your home button, which will bring you back to your garage, right? From here, you can look at your vehicle, you can modify your vehicle, you can go out and test your vehicle, or you can choose to go into a battle. We'll get to that in a moment, because we are going to do, there's two different game modes. There's a PvE missions mode, and then there's a PvP competition fighting mode. And there are various maps and other things that you can play with. But first, let's talk about the factions. When you start, everyone starts as part of the engineers. As you can see here, there are 4 factions currently in the game. As you level up, you will unlock access to these other factions. You have the lunatics, you have the nomads, and the scavengers. Each of them have a different focus to their theme. The engineers are basically hands-off. Just the starter group. They get you familiar with what's going on. There's no infighting or anything like that within the organization. And then they have access to specific things. Like in this one, you know, this is your basic crafting. Everybody has access to the basic parts, right? When you get into the faction stuff, each of the factions will have different items here that they will give you access to for crafting purposes. For the items you can, as you can see here, you can craft. They tell you how much resource it takes. And things like the scrap resource you get from missions, as well as from the PvP. You can get these. In PvP, you get better rewards. You know, hands down, you get just straight up items, and sometimes you'll get things like the parts and miscellaneous stuff. In the missions, you only get scrap and these tickets, actually. So you'll get things like copper resources, you'll get these types of scrap metal. Do we have the tickets? Maybe it's over here. Looking for... Okay, so yeah. So you get basically these coupons. And the only way I've found to get these things is in the missions, which are also known as raids. But basically, as you go through those raids, you can get up to so many tickets per day, and you take those tickets and you come back and convert them over to other things. Like in this case, it would be a container that could give you different types of parts. They could get an epic part with a low probability, rare part with high probability, etc. And then there's a lower version of this which you can create yourself, which just requires the scrap metal resource. Now, you can convert your extra parts from storage into scrap metal, and depending on how many items that you have and what you're using, that may or may not be a good deal for you. It just depends. It's a random number generator, so, you know, take your luck as it is. So one of the other benefits as you level up inside each of these organizations is that you unlock vehicle blueprints. What the vehicle blueprints allow you to do is to basically open up vehicles or to create vehicles without having to actually put them together. When you go into your garage, you'll have the ability to load a blueprint, and if you have the parts for it, it'll load the blueprint for you. If you don't have the parts, it'll tell you. Pardon me. So as you can see here, as you go up, you're going to go at level 5, you're going to get this thing. At level 10, you're going to get this. 15, you'll get this thing. And then level 20, you'll get that. And each of these things will have different weapons and items with them. And you can actually strip them down and put those parts back into your storeroom if you like. Now, as you level up, you also get equipment by default. So you'll get a weapon radiator, which reduces your overheat for things like machine guns because they don't have ammo. They have a cooldown period if you overheat them. You'll get more structural pieces. You'll get, you know, even more structural pieces. Here you'll get limits on your part limit for vehicles to increase. You know, and then this one will be your storage size. Right now, I already have, I think, a 225 storage size. So I'm kind of curious as to what this will do for me because I've been doing some of the levels, and as you level up, you also get rewards for just achieving levels on your own. So the factions have their level, which is based off your character level. And then you have your character level rewards. Well, at level 3, I think it is, level 2 or level 3, you actually get this already. So I don't know if that's going to do anything for us. If you want to see everything that you'll eventually be able to unlock, you can just come over here and take a look at it. It's like you can do test drives with it. That's actually something very reminiscent of something I can already build. So that's a level 5 vehicle. So yeah, because I've already basically built something like this for my own vehicle. That's kind of funny. So let's go in here. There is a market in the game, so you can buy and sell your resources. The Pyre launcher is one of those homing missile launchers that we were talking about. As you can see, the power score, the higher the number, the more powerful something is. So what will happen is your vehicle placement when you go into games is based on the total power of your vehicle. Everything that you add or remove adds and removes power to the vehicle. So if you increase your armor, that adds power. If you strip armor off or take parts off, your power rating's going to go down. So based on how well you balance your weapons versus the vehicle structure, you can actually play with the system. I mean, I've seen people who were ridiculously overpowered for low tier games because they had no armor. You know, they had basically a cabin, which gives you a little bit of power. They had a power generator, and the wheels, and a really big gun. And that gun was one-shotting everybody because it was so overpowered for the area. You can do it. It's not recommended, but you can do it. So like I said earlier, you're always going to find people who have found ways to effectively game the system. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. So far, I've been having a lot of fun with the game. I really can't complain. It's actually not bad. Sure, 3 copper. Yeah, why not? Okay. And then, like I said, you can buy it like I just did. I bought some resources because I can use this to unlock other things and to build parts that I need. Looking for something. Let's see what we got in here anyway. I don't have any of this. So fuel you'll actually need because of this. Basically, your missions require fuel. The beginning missions take 10 fuel, I think it is, for the lowest level, and it can take up to, I think, 50 fuel for the higher level missions. Just depending on what the mission is and what the rewards are. Obviously, the more expensive it is, the better the rewards are going to be, but also the higher level you're going to be facing. So, now the Hurricane launcher is a homing missile system that's basically, I think, volley of 4 homing missiles. Now, they do tell you that they're infrared homing missiles. So in theory, if you do something that had some kind of heat generation, like a flaming barrel, because there are mines in the game that are actually flaming barrels, those might actually be a good counter for these. But I have not seen anyone using that particular weapon, so I'm not sure yet. Bigger guns, generator. Explodes, dealing 700 points of damage in 8-meter radius. Oh, this is some awesome stuff. Now, one of the things to look for is when you're looking at these weapons and items, is you will sometimes find items with a star on them. Those are going to be the most expensive things. Hey, look, chameleon in there. See if I can find any. Actually, you know what? Let's do it with the chassis, because the chassis show up. Okay. So yeah, anything that you have with a star is indestructible. So what that means is that in between missions, you saw how we were talking about the durability earlier for some items. The durability for this particular item will never decrease. So even if you lose, you don't have to worry about having to replace this. So the more parts that you get that are indestructible, the less money and resource you end up spending on maintaining those items. So because of that, as you see here, neither of these can be bought straight out. They're basically doing an auction, right? There's none available, but people are selling them for this amount. So let's see, do we have anything over here? Yeah, see, none of this is for sale, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So I actually got one of these yesterday for, about, I don't know, for the credits token things. So alright, so we'll go back in the storage. This shows you all of your supplies and what you have available. The store, if you're going to buy any of the items, because you can get the kits, which will give you the vehicles, which give you parts, which is a good thing. Now, this is a technically closed beta. Well, it's a public beta by invite. There are 2 ways to get an invite. One of them is to put your name in the hat, and hopefully your information gets drawn. Or you can buy your way in. If you want to buy your way in, you go to crossout.com/EN, I believe it is. I'll put a link in the description below. And then you can purchase one of the kits. What this will do is this guarantees you access to the beta. It gives you a better vehicle to start with if you want to use it. And it gives you the in-game currency, which you can get just by playing the game as well. So effectively what I have this pack here. I'm not using the vehicle. That gun is really nice. But unless you're putting it on a very heavy vehicle, what happens is when you fire, it flips you. It's kind of funny. I actually did it just to try it out. It was a little bit odd. Then if you're curious about what other people are building, you can come over here to Exhibition. And you can see the other chassis that people have built. You can download these and try them out in your own game as long as you have the parts. Basically, what you're doing is you're downloading a blueprint. And some of the designs are pretty bloody impressive. The X-Wing is kind of cool. They've got a couple of tank designs. The Tiger, yeah, there you go. The Panzer Tiger. And then there is another version of it that I think is one of the 2 versions of that tank are really well done. Like, both of them are really well done, don't get me wrong. But one of them, yeah, there's Wally. Where is that? There you go. This one I think is just bloody impressive. I mean, look at that. That's really well built. And it looks like they're using just the truck chassis, a van top, or is that the half wall? That might be the half wall. Some rounded pieces, and then what gun is that? Is that the 76? That might be the 76 cannon. But yeah, I mean, it's just really, really well done. So anyway, that is the basic UI. Let's go ahead and I'm going to load my vehicle. Alright, so this is built on the same chassis as the starter vehicle, and what I've done is, you know, I've unlocked some new parts, I've found some salvage and stuff, and what basically I've been doing is just upgrading this vehicle. Eventually I'm going to strip this entire thing down. Let's go... Actually, you know what? Let's go to the raids. So here, as I was saying, you know, easy race is 10 fuel, normal race is 40, hard race is 100. And what happens is depending on the race, you'll end up with different rewards. As you can see, I've already finished all of my missions for today. So the only thing I get out of this is copper, and I get 1 piece of copper for every 75 XP that you receive. Now, once you unlock the normal race, it has to be level 10. You have to have a vehicle that has a power score of 3,000, and then everything else is obvious. And this increases the number of tickets that you can win in a particular day. So, and then the hard race does the same with a power score requirement of 4,000. So you need level 10 for normal, but level 5 for hard. Okay, that doesn't make sense. So I think I'm going to have to put a bug report in on that. That's kind of funny. And then evasion, you need a level 10 as well. 40 fuel, 2,000 strength. Okay, so it's the same as a normal race. Weird. See, I would have thought that hard and invasion would have been on the same tier, but oh well. So we're going to go into an easy race. Then you just have to wait a couple of minutes for the battle to start, and then depending on, did we get in at the beginning of the round? Yay! Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, we have the map in front of us. On the list on the left side shows you who's on your team. In these types of games, there will always be players on your team. In the multiplayer, like the PvP side of things, that is not true. There are bots in the game. They are part of the gameplay. They are not, you know, AI. They're not players using bots. They are actual AI controlled systems that are part of the game design. And what you'll end up doing is fighting those guys in conjunction with your own team. So they will fill your team. They fill your team out. They also help. Ooh, somebody destroyed something. Wow, that guy's got the dude with the stealth is just like ripping stuff up. All right. So you get rewards for collecting the these ammo kits. What you also want to be doing is gaining or destroying things, because you gain XP based off the damage you do. Turned around, and I lost one of my wheels already, which is not good, because I'm down a wheel, as you can see, my handling is crap. It's probably that guy, because those little harpoon looking things, those drills, do structural damage. Come on. Oh, that was a big cannon. And I'm stuck. This is not a good place to be, because what will happen is, as you can see, the AI will just start taking you apart. And as you lose parts, your vehicle's threat drops drastically. we want to take those harpoons off. Okay. Now, the best thing to do is... there we go. Alright, and that's the basic gameplay. Like I said, it is fairly fast-paced, and I actually got more experience than I was expecting, because I did horrible that round. I didn't get any kills, but I did a lot of damage. But I didn't get the deconstructor. There's an award for deconstructor, which gives you another one of these things. The stickers basically give you a little bit of bonus on your XP. As you can see, I gained 4 copper because, you know, of the points. Now, if I hadn't already completed the challenges for the day, I would actually have gotten those coupons as well, but is what it is. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one here. Let me know if you enjoyed this or not. If you did like it, make sure you hit the like button. I haven't decided if I'm going to add this to the game rotation or not. I think it'll be fun to see, but because it does, from a watching perspective, gets a little bit repetitive, I think. I will, if I do add this, this will be one of those like once a week updates. I don't think I would do this as even... you know, a multi episode a week. But let me know if you enjoyed it. I'll definitely consider adding it in as a little bit more regularly. If I do, like I said from the start, it'll be probably just a single episode a week. So maybe we'll do it on, maybe we'll do this as weekend content or something. I'll probably add it to my live stream rotation because I do think that live streaming this would be a lot of fun. But we'll see. Anyway, if you did enjoy it, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, I do ask that you subscribe. Both the likes and subscriptions help the channel to grow. They keep you informed when things go on around here, and it also lets me know that you're enjoying the content. And any content you enjoy, you're going to get more of. So, you know, like I said, it's also the easiest and nicest thing you can do for YouTubers. So if you haven't done something nice today, or even if you have and you just want to increase your karma pool, hit those like buttons and subscribe. Anyway, I'm out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thanks for stopping in today. And as always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Okay, time to start working on the craft.